right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Hype Man Podcast. I'm your host, Leroy, Olaroy. Either way, it's your boy. And I'm here tonight again with my wife, Heather, to go over migraine awareness. Pretty much that's what we're calling this series. Woo-hoo. So, yeah. Heather, so what is a migraine?
Okay, so...
This is a more detailed... description of what Heather's going to go through.
Yeah. So for those who are familiar, I have migraine neurological disorder. A lot of people do, either diagnosed or undiagnosed. And a migraine is a headache that is severe throbbing pain. It can be pulsing. It can be stabbing-like pain. It can be on one side of the head or both sides of the head, and it doesn't have to always be on the right side. It can also just be on the left side. So there's variations of that. Sometimes people will feel throbbing, like really severe throbbing where it just hurts and it hurts to focus and concentrate. Mm-hmm. And then some people can get auras before an attack, which I will go further into, through this series. But it's one of those things where some people don't get the auras, and so it's, you're missing it. But a lot of times migraines, they're very hard to work with, and they're very hard to function with sometimes for some people, and sometimes it can be disabling even for a lot of people. So... Mm-hmm. And then we will go through a chart that we found on Google that Leroy can pop up onto the screen.
Yeah, whenever you...
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We can do it.
Yep. Okay, so this chart is where there is the first stage, the second stage, the third stage, and the fourth stage of a migraine. So migraines typically come in 4 stages. However, sometimes some people don't always get 4 stages, and they may get 1 or 2, or they just might get 3. Everyone is different, so it's really hard to compare and contrast because our bodies are all different in how we respond to treatment or how we respond to, migraine lifestyles, so to speak. So, trying to find that. Shoot. I'm sorry, guys.
It's very similar to the one you originally sent.
Okay, I have it. Okay. So I was trying to find the one that he found. Sorry about that. But the Prodrome for this stage is problems concentrating, irritability, depression, difficulty speaking and reading, trouble sleeping, yawning, nausea, fatigue, sensitivity to light and sound, which is awful, food cravings, increased urination, and muscle stiffness. So a lot of times in the first stage, we might get neck sensations or neck pain type sensations. When I say my neck is uncomfortable or tight, that's part of the Prodrome.
Okay.
Prodrome can also have constipation. It can have severe thirst, like you really need to drink a lot of water. Yep. And sometimes there might be diarrhea for some folks. So it varies. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of the Prodrome ones. Which ones do you think I have?
Problems concentrating, irritability for sure. Difficulty speaking or reading, or communication overall. Trouble, yawning. I would say yawning's definitely. But yeah, you would yawn. Yeah, you would yawn a lot, and she's like, "Oh, I'm tired." I'm like, "Oh, I think something's coming because you yawning 30 times say like 5 or 10 minutes. Like that's a lot."
Yeah.
And that's also part of Heather not wanting. Nobody wants, to go through a migraine, but she doesn't want to admit that. Yeah, these are signs of Prodrome. So
Yep.
Nausea, definitely. Sometimes fatigue, definitely. Sensitive to light and sound, not real. Well, if the dog started barking with their high pitched barks, yeah. But sensitive to light, not really.
So what about like today when we stepped outside?
Oh, well, sensitive to light. Yeah, when we stepped outside and we took the dogs for a walk. And we're like, yep, ooh, I felt it as soon as I stepped outside. So I don't know if that's that. Well, yeah, that could fall to sensitivity of light.
Yeah. Because the sun to me earlier today, it was just screaming.
It was bright.
Yeah, it was bright, but to me in my head, it was screaming very loud. Like it was like,
okay,
hey, I'm here.
Oh, you didn't advertise it, so I figured you were fine.
Yeah, I thought I was fine. Again, it's one of those things. I'm fine. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, food cravings, no. You tend not to want to eat. During that stage. Increased urination, no. Muscle stiffness, yeah. If it comes, it'll come in the back of the neck area. Yeah. So.
Yeah. What about when I ever have a smell of odors to foods?
Is that still Prodrome?
It can fall between Prodrome, and it can also fall. It can fall in the headache stage.
That's what I'm thinking. I think when it comes to your smell, you're further along than
you think.
Yep.
Okay. And again, Leroy is a good testament too, because you see what I go through and you experience what I go through as well. So, and a lot.
And I'm just gonna say that's why sometimes too that before I used to cook, make multiple meals all the time, and when Heather would get her migraine, say 2 or 3 days or more out of the week, she wouldn't eat. So it's just like, man, this is all on me. So now I kind of plan it out. I just make only one, see if she eats it, and then if she's not feeling well, I gotta kind of gauge like the whole making 2 or 3 meals a week. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Just because I found that.
We were losing money instead.
Well, yeah, in my mind, wasting money when we could have been just because it's just a tool. So yeah, not losing money, but just wasting it in a way that why just save that meal for another day or next week or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So the second stage is the aura stage. This one I didn't think I had for the longest time. And unfortunately, a lot of people with migraines tend to miss it because it happens so quickly. That's one thing that we learned through our neurologist that we have for me is that they just happen like that. And if you don't pay attention to it, it's hard. So a lot of times in this stage, it is the vision loss some people can experience. Some people might experience like the bright flashing zigzag lines, and we'll show some pictures down the road as well. But some people might see like color spots in the aura area. Some people might see dark spots. So like it really messes with your vision. And some people might get numbness or tingling skin sensations. Speech definitely changes.
Yep.
That's a big one for me. Ringing in your ears, which is tinnitus. So a lot of times people will hear that.
Okay.
And it gets higher, and it really hurts. It sounds like sometimes like old refrigerators when they have that high pitched sound.
Is it or does it sound like a teapot when it's ready?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also changes in smell or taste. Some people can have a funny feeling. I don't really know that one too well.
A funny feeling?
Yeah, that's what this chart says.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Dog friendly home.
Yeah. We apologize, but we're gonna power through it.
Yep. The aura can also have heavy feeling in your arms or legs. So a lot of times, like, our bodies will adjust to the migraine, and it will tell us, hey, something's going on. And sometimes that does happen where, your body just weighs a little bit more than you would like. Which ones do you think that I may have, if any, from the aura?
Oh, from the aura?
Yeah, the purple section.
Definitely. I've heard you say I'm seeing colors.
Mm-hmm.
You do definitely lose your vision for seconds. Numbness and tingling, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Speech definitely changes. Never really heard you say a lot about the ringing in the ears, so I'm gonna say no to that one. Yeah.
I always used to say tinnitus.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
yep.
Okay.
It's okay though. It's a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. Temporary vision loss. I call yep. Seeing wavy, jagged lines. Not really sure about that one. I'm gonna put that one as same as blind spots in your vision or loss of vision. Changes in smell or taste. Definitely with you, smell is affected because if it doesn't smell good to you, you are not gonna taste it. You will try just regular plain crackers or a chicken noodle soup or honey nut Cheerios or something like that. Plain Jane food.
Yeah.
Is what
can I do salad during the aura stage?
You can, but you'll have to force yourself to.
Yeah.
Just because after a while you're like, I need to put something in my body, so.
Because it's also not good to take all these medications.
No, and without having something,
Yeah. And then the headache stage is the third stage. That is when we have the actual attack happening to our body.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is where sensitivity to light, noise, and odors. So sometimes when we're going out into public, there might be some odor smells, perfume scents, candle scents. Coffee is a big one.
The big one for you is the dark coffee, the dark roast coffees.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, those really get you, which is why I don't drink coffee in the house.
Yep.
For that reason.
Yep. Nausea, vomiting, stomach upset, abdominal pain. Some people do get abdominal pain with their headaches. I do not. Mm-hmm. But again, everybody is different.
Yep.
Loss of appetite.
Definitely.
Feeling very warm. Sometimes like the hot flashes or you're sweating.
Yep.
Some people do get cold from having headaches or migraines. Mm-hmm. Pale skin. Some people can get that. Feeling tired. Yep. Speech changes. Mm-hmm. Dizziness and blurred vision.
Yep.
Tender to the scalp, so sometimes your head is sensitive when you touch it.
Okay.
Or like when you want to brush your hair back.
I think I've heard you, not as often, but I do remember you saying your scalp was bothering you, or it was hard to brush your hair or comb your hair because your head physically was it hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Diarrhea, some people have, and fever. Fever is very rare for people in the headache or migraine stage, but again, everybody is completely different, so that's where it gets super hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I do, wait in the shower, there's a little nice head massager that I can use in the shower, but at the same time, I can't use it when I'm in the headache or migraine attack stage, the third stage, because it hurts my head.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to brushes or, whatever it is. Maybe if men are having headaches or migraines, maybe it's, shaving your face, or maybe it's your beard. Kind of trimming that up.
Yeah.
That can even hurt too for men because, you're touching your face and your migraine. Yep. The migraine or the headache, there's a lot of sensitivity, like you said, all around the face and the head. So that's the third stage. And then the fourth stage is the Postdrome. So that one is being unable to concentrate, feeling depressed, fatigue, not being able to understand things, feeling euphoria, which is like happy, elated, like you can't sit down, you need to do a bunch of things.
Okay.
Like you feel like you need to get this task done, that task done, like kind of a little bit all over the place. Other things for Postdrome is food odors and smells still can be prominent in this area. Food cravings or even lack of appetite.
Lack of appetite's definitely you, fatigue, definitely.
Yep. And then muscle pain or weakness, dripping nose, and nasal congestion for some.
Yep, drippy nose. As a matter of fact, that we were signing on here to do
Right
this
here.
live. Heather was already had the drippy nose going, so
Yep.
she knows that migraine is
On its way.
is on its way,
Yep.
or for some they might say, Heather, it's already here.
Yep. So like this chart, as you see, like it is a chart where you can use it, but again, everybody's migraine and headache is different and it will vary in each stage. Whereas like here for the Postdrome, they say dripping nose for the Postdrome, but for me, it tends to happen in the Prodrome or the aura stage, and that's when we know the headache is coming. And how you can tell a lot of times what the stages of where you're at is if you learn to track them.
Yeah.
And
one thing Heather always asks me is to pick her up a couple of journals so she can document all this stuff. So when she documents at night or when the symptoms present themselves, she can write them down. And then when it comes time to see her neurologist, there it is. There's the whole timeline of when things happen. So then when they go over her timeline of when all these stages happen, they can kind of know. I could definitely pinpoint exactly of when your auras are starting and when your full migraine is full blown, which is always trying to make that as not as severe as they could be.
Yeah. So it's more about a lifestyle and learning to live with it instead of going against it, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
So in each stage, you'll see at the top too, how some of them they'll say 3 hours to several days.
Yeah, that's for Prodrome.
Yep. The aura is 5 to 60 minutes. And then the headache is 4 to 72 hours. Yep. And Postdrome is 1 to 2 days. So essentially, your headache or migraine could even be starting in the first stage, but it just takes days to get up to the attack. Or it might take hours to get up to the attack. It just really depends on how your body works.
Yeah, because yours actually starts within hours, really.
Sometimes days.
Yeah, and then your Postdrome may last 1 to 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. So a lot of this is kind of feeling it out, working with, what stage is what, and seeing what symptom is what or what sign is what. And it's trying to figure out, okay, do I have that? Is that part of the headache? Is that part of the migraine? And then seeing what you need to discuss with your neurologist if you have one. If you don't have one, I highly recommend for you to get one if you're able to, because they do help you try to pinpoint what's going on with your body a little bit. A lot of times too, we know for me, I don't know about for anybody else, but for me, we know when a migraine is coming on is when I get really irritable and moody.
Yep.
And it's not to put anything against me. It's not to say anything of that. It's just we noticed that as we tracked that in my migraine log, and as you observed it,
Mm-hmm.
we noticed as soon as either I had nose dripping, dizziness because of my vestibular migraine, or irritable and mood changes, um, that those were the most three important signs that a migraine was coming or is coming.
Yeah, and that was one of those things too. As a husband or partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse. Yep. Um, Husband or wife. I think I said that too already. But the thing is it's to, in a way, especially when your loved one is in a migraine or doesn't want to admit that they are experiencing, which Heather does a lot, where she's like, and in my mind, I know what Heather's gonna say, especially when she's in those states of the moodiness and the irritation, where I don't always want to say, "Are you in a migraine? Is a migraine coming?" Because all that's gonna do is, send her off in the other direction. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where I don't do it all the time. Most of the time, I'll just let it be. Sometimes I won't say anything, but then she'll realize, like, wait a minute, why is Leroy being quiet? She goes, "Oh, okay."
And then I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, and that took her some years. That took us some years to figure that process out, because no one wants to keep hearing the same thing over and over again, even though they experience it a lot throughout the week. But yeah.
And it's also equally, as a person with headaches or migraines, it's also equally important to listen to your spouse or whoever is with you most of the time, because it's one of those things that he sees something I don't see. And I've even been with some really close friends who've seen something I don't see. And so, like sometimes your eyes change a little bit. Like do you want to explain that one?
No, where to your point, where you always ask me if you have face droopings, which is that of the eye, and it's mostly with Heather. It's always her right eye.
Yeah. So what will happen is my right eye will droop downward, and then
it'll droop downward slightly and get puffy, and you get the dark circles around the eyes.
Yeah.
And she can be up first thing in the morning, still in the Postdrome. Yeah, which is
is that the first stage you're talking about?
No, the last stage.
Yes, that's
Yeah, she can still be in that as soon as she gets up in the morning, and I'm like, oh, either she's still in it or another one's coming. That's the tricky part. And if I can remember, I think it'd be the fact that you might be still in it or another one's coming. It's
usually one or the two.
Yeah, it's either one or the other.
Yeah. So, again, it's just trying to listen to your partner in crime, being like, hey, I may not want to listen. I may want to be stubborn, and I'm independent. I'm good. I don't need help. I'm fine.
Yeah. And that's what Heather likes to tell herself. And I get it. But then at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to say it just to be saying it. Like, if I see it, if I physically see it, on your face, I'm going to let you know, hey, are you, I think you're in a migraine, or you're still in a migraine,
or what's going on. Yeah.
Yep.
And so, it, like you said, it took us a couple years to get here with the neurologist help. Yep. But with her help, we were able to get here, and we're, learning to listen to each other a little bit more, meaning me. Because I don't like it when he gets quiet. I don't like it when, that happens. And so, it's one of those things that sometimes we end up saying I'm sorry to our spouse and partner in crime more than often not. And it's unfortunately the nature of the beast with migraines. And I don't like it. He doesn't like it. I'm sure any other couple or family member, they don't like it.
Yeah, because it can be hard, especially coming from my point of view of things, of where when Heather gets irritated, or because that irritation becomes becomes upset or angry and things like that. And after a while, a person gonna take so much to where they just shut. They just, I don't want to say shut down, but there's times where I'll be quiet, or I'll go to a different room, and then Heather comes to me like, "Oh, are you trying to avoid me?" It's like, "No, I'm trying to give you your space because I know you're in it, but yet you still don't want to admit it."
Yeah.
So, and then when she finally takes a step back and think about it, she's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right." So it's one of those things that, like Heather says before, because she can be. We can all be stubborn at a point, and that's just Heather just being, normal human being that just doesn't want to believe that X, Y, and Z is happening, but it is happening.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, you just need to work with each other instead of against each other. When you're working in this with your spouse, partner in crime, family member, friend, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So just try to work together and try and be patient. And if you aren't patient, then own up to it and apologize. Apologies come a long way.
Yep.
Saying thank you comes a long way.
Especially nowadays.
Yep. For the stages, our dog also helped us identify, not just the neurologist. We have a West Highland Terrier, and I started reading up articles on how to train dogs with migraines or neurological disorders. And we started training her, and sure enough, she started picking out the first stage and the second stage of my migraine, and she started alerting me after some training that we just did.
Mainly you.
Yeah, but you would say mama's sick.
Yeah.
That's the term for our dog, is mama's sick. And she would sniff her head right up here in the forehead.
Yeah, she would sniff your head.
And then she'll sniff sometimes here in the eye.
And she would linger, eyes big, because she can smell what's going on. And then when Heather would lay down or the couch or the bed, she would take her full body and lay on top of Heather's head, trying to do whatever she could to relieve the pressure or the tension or the intensity that Heather was experiencing. So.
Yeah, so also your pets, pay attention to your pets. If you have any pets at your home that might be able to alert you in some form.
Or just pets just want to lay with you because maybe they feel that, okay, so and so is not feeling well. I'm just gonna lay with them, and usually that helps too, and that's what pets are. That's a pet's job. If you ask me, is to take on some of that burden to be therapeutic and things like that.
Yeah.
Or great distractions, which is also still therapeutic if you think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Another helpful thing with migraines is to make sure you have your support system. My biggest support system is sitting right next to me. It's my husband. He's always there for me. He's got my back. Even when I am really feeling like crap with a migraine. And then it's also making sure that you're kind of staying in communication lines with your neurologist or your PCP, which is your doctor. And just kind of being like, hey, here's some new changes that are happening. Maybe they're not new. Whatever it might be that you guys agreed to through communication lines. And then, friends are also a good support system. So make sure that not only do you rely on your spouse, but you also rely on your friends as support too. Yeah. So. Yeah. Because it can be a lot.
Yes, it can be. It can be. Not only does Heather have me, but she's got a migraine community. She's got friends. She's got friends that experience different migraines, similar migraines just in general. So she's got a community besides me that that she can talk to.
Yeah.
Instead of always talking to me, which is great because as much as I love her, I also need a break as well.
Yes.
So.
And you do. I mean, we all need breaks, and it's not saying anything negative on him
or anything negative
right.
on her. It's just we're all human.
Right. And we all still need to be our individual selves at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, like it's some people in my migraine community group, a question was asked a while ago, how do you describe a migraine? So here's what some of us had to say, and I wanted to kind of go over it. And I'm not going to mention any names for a privacy matter, but here is what some of the descriptions was. Feels like death. Okay. The second one was an ice cream headache while having a vice tightened on your head and having your forehead hit with a hammer. One person said Hell. I don't know if I can say that word on here or not, so I'm just going to say Hell.
Yeah, you can say hell.
Hell? Okay. Woohoo! One swear word I can say. Yes. And 4, feels like someone is stabbing me in the head with an ice pick.
I've heard that. Visual. Yeah.
Yep. Others are feels like a weighted semi-truck driving over my skull and backing up multiple times. The pain feels like a screwdriver being screwed into my skull. Other times I feel like I am having a big balloon in my head. So when you have like the barometric...
That pressure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
When you have the barometric pressure outside or humidity or any sort of other weather changes. Whoa. Yeah. Sometimes feels like a stroke, but I'm still functioning. Many times my arms go numb. It's hard to move my legs. Communication is difficult.
Yeah, bet you.
Where you are stuck on that one word or forget what you wanted to say.
Yep.
Stairs typically hurt to walk on.
Yep. You just experienced that last week.
Yep. So, those are a few descriptions that I wanted to share with you guys, and I want it to be reality for you guys. It's not for you to be like, oh my God, I feel sorry for my partner or my friend. And oh my God, do I need to kind of give them some self-pity? No, that's not it. We just want your understanding and we want your empathy. We don't want the self-pity. We don't want people to be like, oh, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Because even when you even stop me when they're like, okay, yeah, babe, you've done enough. You don't need to do this and that. You know, I'll get the dishes. Like, let me do something. It's like, okay, all right.
And while it's very appreciative and grateful that you do a lot of these things,
but I see it from yours end too. That's when I stop. I go, okay, or I go, oh, don't worry, I left this and that for you.
Right. And so it's a matter of saying, okay, well, what are you comfortable doing? What is your spouse or partner in crime, friend, family member comfortable doing? You know, whoever is with you. If you don't have somebody like that and it's just you by yourself, then make sure you reach out to somebody through like a social media support system that's out there, like on Facebook. You can go into my group or plenty other groups. You can even maybe, if you're with a churchgoer, you can maybe rely on some church, community members. So there's a whole world out there for people with migraines that can be for support system.
And I totally get it. For a lot of us who don't want to feel like a burden, but at some point we all go, okay, all right, I need a little help, somewhere. So.
Yeah. And so, we don't like to lose our independence. We don't like to feel this small. We're just here to let you guys know that, one, you're not alone, because I definitely have migraines. In fact, I was just diagnosed with a 5th type this week. So what are your 5? Just if you don't mind. No, it's fine. I have complicated migraine. I have cervicogenic headaches.
Okay.
I have hemiplegic migraine.
Yep.
I have vestibular migraine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got diagnosed with chronic migraine.
Yep.
And does it scare me that I got diagnosed with chronic migraine? No. But it's just trying to find ways to work with it. Instead of against it, and what I'm up against, so to speak. And I've been dealing with migraines for over a decade. And
you've been close to 15 years.
Yeah. I lose track. It's been that long.
She'll just say more than a decade. Where I'm like, I think it's closer to 15.
You know, but it's part of me. It's part of who my life is, and so does it make me sad sometimes? Sure, but it doesn't mean that I'm depressed. It just means that get through your funk, get up, get out.
This is the same woman who also pulled out 7 bushes in the span of 2 weekends when she was in a migraine, and she was so happy. So happy, and I was happy for her to do that. So see, like it's possible. You just gotta find ways to work with it.
Yeah.
And trust me, after when she was done, she was done, man. She did her whole routine and her sound therapy and her ice hat and her meds, but at the same time, she was like, I pulled them out.
Yeah.
Because I pulled my back out, especially that
like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 2 weeks before. So she didn't want me doing any bending her. So all I did was I just hold her just to balance her so she can get in there with the 2 different types of shovels and.
Yep.
And then all I did was, as she was breaking the roots, all I did was pull. So, and I didn't have to pull that hard. So, yeah, kudos to her on that. I was very proud of her because I think that's what Heather needed in her life, especially right now, to go, okay, I can do this. I just have to find ways to work with it. If I'm good, do it. And like once I feel it, take care of myself. Like, but I can do things. You just got to work with it.
Yeah. So. And it's not saying that, I'm always sad, because trust me, I'm always happy to, like I'm out with friends, family, you. Like last weekend we were out at a
it's like an outdoor.
It was like a bar,
an outdoor function.
We were there, and I wasn't really drinking, but it doesn't mean I still can't have fun. And so we were having fun, and
we were there with friends listening to live music.
It was great. It was fantastic, and like I still went with a migraine, but I still enjoyed myself. I just made sure to bring my migraine kit with me.
Yeah, but she did. She had her bag and had her adult color and anything that she needed to distract herself. And the thing is that the people that we were with, they totally understood what Heather goes through. So it wasn't something like, oh, why are you coloring? Like the folks that we hang around with, they totally understand Heather's I want to say condition.
You can say condition.
Okay. So and they were totally supported. So anything that she does or say, like they don't, look at her funny or anything like that. So.
Yeah. And people who do look at me funny, then I just try to leave it. Like,
she lets it be, or if they ask, Heather's gonna be, oh yeah, I suffer from 5 different types of migraines, and if they go, oh really, oh I'm so sorry, she's like, no, don't be.
Right.
I find ways to work with it. She's like, I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah. Because it's either I can stay inside, with headaches and migraines, or I can do my best to live life, because life is too short.
Yep.
So, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard. Some other things that we can talk about is some things that people with migraines want you to know. And I found this specifically from Google. Okay. I found that image specifically from Google as well.
Yeah, there's the other one.
Oh, there's the other one. Oh, yay. We can do this one too. Okay. So this is a nice little chart to show you guys what people think migraine is mostly. There's 2 main things, which is, it's just another headache. That's not what we want to hear. Or, oh, there's just vomiting. Okay. But what a migraine truly is, and you see the second circle at the bottom, there's a bunch of little bullet points. Yeah, pie slices. Thank you. So yeah.
And also just saying that they're all equally, even in the pie, but you got your throbbing, intense throbbing, debilitating pain,
yep.
Nausea, vomiting, light and sound and smell, motion sensitivity, yep, visual, auditory, disturbances, yep, brain fog, which I know Heather experiences that, low mood, okay, yep.
It can be mood or irritable.
GI issues, absolutely. Dizziness, yep, fatigue, body aches, irritability, suicidal ideation, depression, memory problems, lack of focus, concentration, personality changes. Yep, that's a big one, man. Because I'm gonna be honest, there's sometimes I don't even recognize Heather at times.
It's hard.
And then the last one is other things that won't fit in this post. That's a good one. So there's many.
Yeah. Many. Again, we're all different. We just want your empathy and your understanding. And that chart should be a nice description of what people with migraines go through.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
I mean, try and think of for those who have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I'm fortunate enough where I get to stay at home a little bit, do self-care as needed. Thanks to Leroy. He's an awesome husband, amazing, supportive, loving.
I try.
You are.
I know I am. Just messing with you.
But, it's one of those things that some people don't have that choice, and they might have to work, and they might have to go to school. They might have to, be a parent with a migraine, and that's hard. Yeah. And there's varying factors that people with migraines have, and it's really hard to work in a situation when you have a migraine or a headache. And it's not just a migraine specifically, but headaches too. Like, they can be just as painful. So, and so some things that people with migraines want you to know, it's a real illness. It's a neurological disease inside our brain. It's a complex disorder. People don't understand that this is an actual disorder of the brain. Like, people who don't have migraines, they don't understand that migraines are attached to your head. Like, it's an actual brain disorder, like part of that. Every migrainer is different, and symptoms can range all over the place, right? So don't compare one person to the next, because
you're all different, man.
Yep.
We're all you migraineurs are different. You're all gonna experience different stages at different times. Some shorter than others, some much longer than other ones, than others. So
yeah, a lot of times too, we don't want to hear is, oh, you're faking being sick, or you're faking having a migraine. No, we're faking being well. That's more it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like, people, like, we had a neighbor in our community who told me, like, oh, you don't look sick. Okay, great. And I just, that baffled me so much. And I just was like, okay, so I'm like, we need to raise some awareness. We need to raise some education, because, I'm just like, I told the person, I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm just faking being well.
Yep.
Like, that's just it. There's no rule for how long a migraine attack will last.
Nope, 0.
It can be hours. Days. It can be days. How about weeks?
You want one that I don't know if it was 2 years ago where you had to go into the ER because of it. Like
Yep.
it wouldn't break. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. Some people, it lasts months.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like it's hard. For some people, symptoms never end. They keep going.
Wow. Wow.
So they have no choice but to live it.
Mm-hmm.
This means they have a migraine headache lasting 4 to 72 hours on 15 or more days each month for more than 3 months, with at least 8 of those days. And that is chronic migraine.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Treatment for migraines aren't perfect.
No, not at all.
A lot of times, this is a huge misconception.
Big one.
Yep. Family members, friends, neighbors, community people who know me, you know, they're like, oh, why don't you get on a better treatment plan? I've tried this. I've tried that. I've tried this.
She has exhausted all medications. And then I'm sure people are like, oh, well, have you tried Botox? And Botox is something that we just want to stay away from. Yeah. She tried it once many years ago. Yeah, it's something that Heather doesn't want to do, and I fully back her on that.
Yeah. So for me, I fully don't want to do it. For one, putting chemicals in the brain, toxins, and I guess you could argue, other medications do the same thing.
Sure.
But not only that, but it's costly, and I don't want to do that to my husband. That's not fair to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just those things that we think about for each other. And they say there's savings program and all this other stuff out there for Botox, and I'm sure there is. But again, I mean, chalking out $300 for each session, or $400, $500.
Who knows what it is? But I know back then it was a lot more. It was probably more expensive back then than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was new. Maybe a lot of the insurance companies didn't cover it. I don't even know if they still do, but just the fact that the whole thing is not an option for us right now.
So, and that's fine. Everybody's situation is different, right? But it's just saying that treatment plans are not always perfect. And everybody's always like, oh, but there's newer medications out there. Yes, there are newer medications, but not everybody's body is going to respond appropriately to the side effects.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because you've had some bad ones.
Yep.
But everyone's different.
Yep.
That's why that's why there's so many out there, because everyone's different. They've got to keep coming up with new ones.
Yep.
And my thing is, man, if they can come up with something that can ease the intensity of the ones with the biometric pressure and the weather, there's your there's your game changer right there. I don't know how that could. Who knows? With science and technology and all that stuff, but that's the one right there that would change migraineurs' lives right there for sure.
And they do have something out there, but I can't take it because I'm allergic to it.
You're allergic to it, yeah. So for the ones that are probably like, oh yeah, there's this and that. I totally forgot, but you're right. But she can't take it, so you gotta find other methods until as time goes on. Maybe they'll have alternative ones that work the same way but work differently chemically with people's bodies.
Yep. As of right now, there are currently over 250 treatments that have been identified for migraineurs, which is a good thing because it's a lot better than where we used to be at one point.
Yep.
Migraine attacks often can't be prevented. That's another thing we want you guys to know. So many people who experience migraines see improvement in their symptoms when they Take steps to make life more regular, consistent, and predictable. So, meaning more structured routine, which I'm sure will be discussed at my next appointment because I have a feeling that's coming because of the chronic migraine. And people in my own migraine community support group have also said routines are, important. So, we do a lot for ourselves as far as self-care. If you have a hormonal trigger for women, sometimes they can't always be avoided. Some people think that's easy to avoid, and it's really not, because your, menses messes with you, and then your whole body becomes out of whack, and then sometimes you get a headache or migraine, and it's really hard to function. Barometric triggers is also another misconception too, where, oh, well, weather's happening, you have a migraine. Oh, no, that's, it's just a weather related, and it's like, no. And so we know, for me, my trigger is weather. And of course, we live in Chicagoland, so it's going to, be changing. So again, those are things we can't prevent, and those are things we want you guys to have a little bit more empathy towards as well. It's often a very lonely experience, is what other migraineurs want people to know. While we have a huge support system, some migraineurs, they feel alone. I don't usually feel that way because I make sure to get myself up and out, like moving about. I usually try to check in on a friend or whatnot. And, I'm constantly communicating either with a friend or with my husband, a family member sometimes. But for some people, it is a very lonely experience. And so just keep in mind, if you know somebody with a migraine, reach out to them and be like, hey, can I help you with anything? Can I keep you company when watching a movie, maybe? Like, if you can't watch a movie, then what is it that you're comfortable doing in a migraine? Can I keep you company with? So those are important things to think about. Maybe the person can't cook in a migraine.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot can't.
That can be a lonely experience. So maybe see if you can offer a, cooked meal, or maybe see if you can provide them with a cooked meal. That can be helpful. Another one is it can wreak havoc on your work, family, and social life, is what migraineurs want you to know. So many migraineurs have lost families over this. Many migraineurs have lost loved ones over this.
Relationships.
Yep. And so even friends. I've been in that boat. And it's not saying the end of the world, but, it's life. When someone calls in sick repeatedly, a lot of times supervisors will say, what's wrong with you? Right? So it becomes a work issue. And that is a relationship as well. And so, those are things that people with migraines, they want you to be a little bit more empathetic towards a certain situation. People who get migraines often lose friends over time. Sometimes that's true. Because people are really hurt and people are in pain. People are not feeling well, and they need to take care of themselves is the first and foremost priority. And that's 100%, fantastic and great. But sometimes it does happen where we lose people. When you cancel plans with people, they think you're making it up. That's a big one. I know some friends have said that. And it's not saying anything negative against anybody. It's just, I'm not making this up. I can't control when
what's going on.
Right. And so other people can't control that, right? Finding the right doctor is really, really difficult.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. But we're very thankful that we have a good neurologist team.
Yes. Very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really great neurologist who is up there as far as stats or numbers wise.
Sure.
And I'm very thankful for my doctor.
Yeah.
And then living with migraines takes courage to keep going.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times for people, it's hard. And the pain is there. It's real. It hurts.
It hurts. And Heather's, to be real, Heather's questioned it. There's times when she's wanted to, give up and quit and why me and why does it have to happen to me? And yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you hear your wife say those things.
Yeah.
It's also reality too, and it just takes that other person or family member or friend to just try to keep them positive. That's what I had to do with Heather. Yeah. I had to keep her positive. Stop. As soon as a negative thought enters, like go back to, like if Heather ever goes back to where, not goes back to where, but when she starts thinking negative or things like that, to where the point I'll just say, hey, remember those bushes you pulled out?
Oh, yeah.
That was all you.
Yeah.
That should automatically snap out of it. You're like, it could be the smallest thing, it could be the biggest thing, but you're like, yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I just need to do X, Y, and Z, and hopefully get a little break from what you're experiencing in that moment. But no, Heather's definitely been there. I've definitely had to pull her out, and then definitely now going forward. And we took pictures of the bushes too. So, and she's got them. She's got them on her phone. So if look at up. Look at those 7 pictures, instead of, to get yourself out of that funk, pretty much. So.
Yeah. So if you're ever in that funk, I understand 100%. You're not alone. I'm right there with you sometimes. For the most part, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're not alone. There's other people out there that are hurting just as much as you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, what is it? Almost 40 million Americans.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a big number, and a lot of people aren't even diagnosed.
It could be more than that. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So those are some things that I just briefly wanted to chat about too, when talking about migraines, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there and certain things that migraineurs want people to know. I'm very thankful for my husband. I'm very thankful for my support system. You all know who you are. If you're watching, thank you. And
thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is a great response for the migraine awareness one. If you haven't checked it, check it out. A lot of great information from Heather, and a little bit of sprinkle of my experience. Living with someone with migraines, with 5 different types of migraines now. So we're going to continue this series.
Yep.
Hope you guys enjoy. Get some great information out of it. Do what you can when you can, and when you can't, you can't. She's had to learn it, even though she's she can be stubborn as a mule sometimes. So where it's like, Heather, if you can only do 2 things, do those 2 things, and then that's it. But before, she should try to do 5, 6, 7, and 8 things, and then get irritated and ticked off when she couldn't. So it took some time. It took some years to
find that balance.
To pretty much rewire herself on when to say enough is enough when she's done a lot. Yeah. But in her mind, she probably figures I can keep going. But when that migraine hit, it's like, nah, baby, it's enough.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Like even right now, I can tell one is coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Just because I struggled with words a little bit through
struggle with words, and
here.
You got a little facial drooping.
So I have.
You probably can't see it from there.
No, but some facial drooping.
Yes, facial drooping on both sides, but some dark circles.
And then I'm feeling some weird throbbing sensations in the back of my head. So after this live, I'll probably take some medication and
she's gonna medicate up and whatever else she needs to do. So
watch some TV with you.
Right.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So guys, if she can, if she doesn't fall asleep, which is totally fine. But again, thank you so much, guys, for supporting the Hype Man podcast. Again, we'll continue this migraine and headache awareness series. And I'm not sure what Heather's got on board for the next one, but I'm sure it'll be great.
And if there's something you guys are interested in and you guys want to know more about, let Leroy know in the comments.
Yeah.
So that way we can see what we can do.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much for this episode of Hype Man Podcast. Again, thank you so much for all the love and support. Take care of yourselves out there. And again, do what you can. And when that migraine comes, just, it comes, but do what you can. If you don't have a support system, you can like Heather said, you can join her community group. You can join thousands of other community groups, and then if you find that small or large circle group of friends that experience what you're going through or know what you're going through and aren't going to judge you, those are the people who you should be around. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you again for all love and support, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome to the Hype Man Podcast. This is Leroy or Leroy. Either way, it's you.